Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, all the entrepreneurs. We are today gathered for the third forum, Social Enterprise and Rural Revitalization, Context, Trends, and Best Practices in Nepal on January 11, 2023. As we know, Institute of Social Entrepreneurship in Asia is organizing this forum on the social enterprise and rural revitalization and aims, as the concept note has presented, to engage in dialogue about the development context and trends and social enterprises engaged in rural revitalization in China, Nepal, and the Philippines, to showcase social enterprises contributing to rural revitalization and addressing the problem of aging farmers and outmigration, and study how various segments of youth as stakeholders of social enterprises and leaders of innovative solutions to problems in rural communities can be more effectively supported. Today we have 7 speakers that will emphasize on the various ideas, various contexts, and how we could go about the social enterprises, particularly in Nepal. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Mary-Lisa Decane, the President of Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia. Dr. Lisa is the founding president of the Institute for the Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, ISEA, a leading knowledge resource and platform building institution set up by practitioners and scholars in 2008. She is a mentor of social entrepreneurs, a pioneer in research and education and social entrepreneurship in Asia, and an advocate for developing collaborative partnerships between social enterprises, civil society organizations, businesses, and governments to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. I welcome you, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you, Sanda. Thank you, Sandaha. Sadhana, sorry. Good afternoon and good evening or good morning, depending on what time zone you are in. Welcome to the Social Enterprise Rural Revitalization Forum on Context, Trends, and Best Practices in Nepal. As some of you know, those who have been following this forum series, this is the third in a series of learning sessions that we have started in November. On November 24, we had a forum on this focus on China. On December 16, we had a forum similarly focused in the Philippines. And now we have a forum focused on Nepal, on social enterprises and rural revitalization, context, trends, and best practices. So may I just introduce ISEA first? ISEA is a regional network of social enterprises and social enterprise resource institutions and scholars advancing social entrepreneurship for sustainable and equitable development. And we are present in 10 countries in Asia. So I'm actually speaking to welcome you in behalf of the co-conveners of the Rural Revitalization Youth and Social Entrepreneurship Platform. And of course, with us this afternoon is the head of RRM, Arjun Karki, also the head of SFA, Xiang Laning. And of course, we also have Marlon Palomo from PRRM. And so we are wanting to welcome you to this Rural Revitalization Youth and Social Entrepreneurship Forum series. And as you may also know, some of you who have been following our platform, the Rural Revitalization Youth and Social Entrepreneurship platform is one of 5 platforms that the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia and partners set up during the Social Enterprise Advocacy and Leveraging Conference that we co-convened with the United Nations, ESCAP, in September 2020. And these platforms were in response to the multiple crises that we face, not only the development crisis and the climate crisis, but also the crisis that has been made worse by COVID-19, as well as the geopolitical wars we've been experiencing. So these 5 platforms are actually in response to this crisis towards inclusive recovery, building back fairer, and advancing the acceleration of the Sustainable Development Goals. The 4 other platforms are women's empowerment, livelihoods, and food in agricultural value chains, technological innovations for sustainable development, decent work for all in sustainable value chains, and the health for all platforms. So the Rural Revitalization Youth and Social Entrepreneurship Platform was launched in July 2022. And this is meant to be a platform for learning exchange. It's meant as a platform for projecting collective impact, for engaging government on policy reform, and for generating support from private sector, financial institutions, national and intergovernmental agencies, and the business sector to support the engagement of youth, as key actors in rural revitalization and sustainable development. So without much ado, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Social Enterprise and Rural Revitalization Forum, Context, Trends, and Best Practices in Nepal. And we look forward to a fruitful discussion and the active engagements of all the participants towards a successful forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marilisa, for your welcome remarks. Now, proceeding on with the program today, I would like to request Dr. Arjun Karki to say his few words on the program and specifically on the role of social enterprise in Nepal.
Sir, you are on mute, Arjun sir.
Thank you, Sadhana. Dear friends, speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing team and ISEA for bringing us together. On behalf of Rural Reconstruction Nepal, special thanks to all presenters, speakers, and participants for your valuable time and contribution to make this event a success. As we know, social enterprises are an organizational form that combines entrepreneurial behavior with the legitimate quest for economic profit while pursuing social and environmental goals. It therefore puts people and the planet on equal terms with profit. In this regard, the ecosystem of social enterprise has and can use the triple bottom lines to address Nepal's rural areas triple development challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment, while simultaneously growing sustainable and profitable businesses. And in this manner, rural enterprises have a huge potential in contributing to the economy of Nepal. But this potential has to be realized by providing them with the necessary boost they need, both financially and technically. We have all heard the quote, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. The general principle of alleviating poverty by facilitating self-sufficiency has a long history. This is exactly how social enterprises work for empowerment in any scenario and in this particular context for rural revitalization in Nepal. Job creation is considered as particularly important for rural areas like Nepal, where employment opportunities are limited. Dependence on public sector job is high, and where business opportunities are perceived as scattered. Rural social enterprises maintain local economies by bringing in significant investments, selling locally produced goods, and creating jobs in the area. Moreover, often social enterprises fulfill very specific needs in communities by providing local services that otherwise would not be delivered. For instance, by highly commercial or public bodies. Agriculture plays a significant role in Nepal's economy, contributing about 27% of the country's gross domestic product and employing about 70% of the population. However, the sector is largely subsistence in nature with a heavy focus on primary production of crops and livestock, which is not enough to move rural households out of poverty. Shifting from current subsistence agricultural production to value-adding rural enterprises can help rural households improve their income streams. Dear friend, social enterprises in rural areas context shows increasing interest in the delivery of opportunity by non-governmental players. And the main social enterprise action involves trading, service delivery channels, cross-sector collaboration, cultural varieties, social change, learning, training, care facility, community care arrangement, cheap transportation, recycling, and subsidized accommodation. In fact, RRN has been incorporating the ways of social enterprises through various of its projects to generate rural employment by supporting non-farm small businesses through investment in smallholder farming, agro-industry, marketing, and input support, while also empowering human rights-based advocacy campaigns, rights-based education empowerment through enterprising activity that are about drastic, positive, sustainable changes. For more than a decade, social business and social enterprises in the European Union have played an important role in society. Social entrepreneurship become the point of attention in political and legal document in the EU because it was noticed that the economy becomes more socially oriented and involves all spheres of our life. Social entrepreneurship is still at a nascent stage in Nepal. Lack of conceptual clarity on what a social enterprise is and what it is not, as well as the lack of legal framework has impeded their progress in Nepal. Additionally, when the overall business environment is so unfavorable, social enterprises are bound to face numerous challenges. Nepal has made tremendous progress in its socio-economic development over the past decades, but still faces many challenges. Where there are challenges, however, there are also opportunities. Social entrepreneurship constitute a new way of trying to address today's pressing development challenges in Nepal through innovative solutions. Having said that, Nepal is in the verge of experiencing a crisis of success as it moves from least developed countries towards developing one. As the aid flows decrease, as we become less deserving of philanthropy and aid, but also this decline has been brought about by changing donor priorities, as many traditional aid agencies are shifting from aid to impact investment. The paradigm shift is a must for our sustainable rural development. Today, I would like to suggest three key important ways to strengthen social enterprises in Nepal. First, there is an urgent need to improve the social enterprise policy space, including crafting regulation to drive corporate sustainability and scale corporate social investment, as in emerging in our neighboring countries in South Asia. Policy space can also take the form of tax exemptions and also subsidies for social businesses, participation in public procurement, tax relief, for social enterprise investor, grant funding for social enterprises training and research, and also accelerated social enterprise registration and accreditation. Second, to overcome the small scale nature of most social enterprises that makes it harder to deploy capital to them, providing grants and catalytic capital to de-risk social entrepreneurship investment is needed to crowd in private capital into social enterprises. This calls for strengthening the pipeline of viable impact investment prospects that can meet both the financial, social, and environmental objective of impact investor. Third, fostering institution for social enterprise capacity and practices. This includes institutionalizing social entrepreneur in primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, curricula, addressing the skill deficits among youth, developing appropriate infrastructure for the impact investment sector, for example, improving the ease of doing business, developing social enterprise intermediaries like incubators and accelerator, and enhancing impact measurement practice and standard. In closing, in the country like Nepal, promoting social entrepreneurship could be a very determinant sector for the rural revitalization. However, programs on commercializing agriculture and providing training for local entrepreneurs are mostly stand-alone with no integration with local communities or synergies in order to be sustainable, to which platform like ISEA, as mentioned by Lisa in the remarks, can play significant role as learning and action network catalyzing and consolidating knowledge creation, capacity development, and movement building through collective effort for social entrepreneurship in Nepal and overall Asia. I would like to seek your indulgence to encourage government officials, private sector representative, international organization, and participant in today's event to serve as ambassador of the social enterprise agenda in rural revitalization of Nepal. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Karki. Indeed, rural revitalization to social enterprise has been quite a determinant factor, for the development. Dr. Arjun Karki is the president of Rural Reconstruction Nepal. RRYSE is a Nepalese NGO with special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations since 1997. Dr. Karki is also Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Government of Nepal to the United States of America from 2015 to 2021. Dr. Karki also brings wide-range experience in academia, a doctorate in development studies from the University of East Anglia, UK. Dr. Karki has served as an international fellow at the London School of Economics and Political Science, UK, and has published works of international repute. Thank you for your remarks, Dr. Karki. Now, moving on with the program, I invite Mr. Ratna Karki on speaking about a successful social entrepreneurship development program. Smallholders organize initiatives in livestock raising in Dolakha, Nepal. Ratna Karki is the Chief of Programs and Projects in Rural Reconstruction Nepal. He is also a team leader for Dedicated Grant Mechanism Nepal project, a global project funded by the World Bank and CIF. He has also served as Executive Director of RRM from 2019 to 2021. Lastly, he is a PhD fellow in the Faculty of Agriculture and Technology, South Bohemia University in Czech Republic. I welcome you, Mr. Karki.
Thank you, Sadhana. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Maybe good morning to some other fellows too. And namaste from RRM, and Kathmandu. So my presentation basically today will be more on the practices what we have been doing about this social entrepreneurship and rural revitalization. In fact, RRN has been working for a long time to promote social entrepreneurship, especially in rural areas. So I would like to discuss today about the role of or importance of smallholders in promoting social enterprises, entrepreneurship, and the rural and the ultimately for the rural revitalization. So basically, the smallholders in the case of Nepal, they are the basically majority of the population. They hold they hold less than 0.5 hectare of the land, and they are lack of sufficient land holding size to do their business farming like that. And this for the smallholders, when we talk about the social entrepreneurship, then we need to go further. We need to promote a kind of business-oriented farming or business-oriented or commercial activities. So RRM in the past, and we have been promoting for the smallholders or the farmers who have a very little size of land holding, and they are the majority in the population, but with their own, let's say, individual initiatives, they cannot do, they cannot go for the commercial farming. So this is organizing smallholders in a group, in a community is could be a very good approach for to bring them this smallholders for the this social entrepreneurship development, especially in local communities. Here, I would like to cite some of the examples that RRN has been doing in its project area, and linking with the context and trend in the context of the Nepal, how this in fact this organized farmers initiatives or the people, the farmers, smallholders, they need to work in a somehow organized way, so that they could in their farming they could bring their initiatives, their business, their activities for profitable business or profitable economic activities, we could say. So right now I am sharing this dairy farming by the smallholders initiatives is one example, one of the best practices that we have been doing. We have been getting that it has been proved the dairy farming by the smallholders doing in an organized way has become one of very good example to promote them, for promote the social entrepreneurship. So the main activities that we supported by the project is there was a support for this improved breed of the livestock, and then there was supports for different kind of tools and technology and training for the values, and we can say milk processing training that is suitable to be manageable by the smallholders at community level. So and those kind of inputs or supports that project was provided in the past. So outcome of the project or the initiatives of the smallholders that we could see here in picture also, like this, if we would like, the idea is that if we would like to bring smallholders or the poor people in something sustainable business, sustainable economic activities, then they need to bring in something organized way. So like what we did, what project did is we organized these small farmers who wants generally less than 0.5 hectare of the land, and like if a farmer, they could raise 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maximum 6, 7 number of cows for the milking purpose. If we organize 100 small farmers for those kind of businesses or enterprises, dairy enterprises in our project area, the number of cow could be like 300 milking cow in a village, and that gives at least 1,000 liter milk in a day. So what we have found, this kind of initiatives, like that kind of like organizing farmer in a group and doing the same business by many number of farmers, let's say more than 50, more than 100, depending on the population of different villages. And if they do same business, so it comes to small enterprises, micro enterprises, and this is the case of dairy enterprises that we are promoting. We supported in the past also. Like I would like to cite one example. This is I am citing one example at the household level, and even if we go for household level, if a farmer, smallholder, if they raise a certain number of cows, this milking cows, let's say 4 to 6, 5 to 6, like that. What we found that this gross income per cow they got is close to 900,000 Nepalese rupees, and with all this reduction of all the expenses, no, what we found that there is net income that the farmers, smallholders. I'm citing this example of one single individual smallholder. They are getting at least 40,000 rupees net income per month. So similarly, it is also generating full employment for 1 to 2 person in a family. So another benefit is in the case of Nepal, because these smallholders itself, they don't have big size of the land, and they cannot use machineries or heavy tools and equipments for their farming, and similarly they need to use this basically organic manure, organic fertilizer available in the community. So this livestock raising in another way is very much benefiting by providing this organic manures, and also it's contributing for better soil health. So this is another benefit. So, in general, this smallholders organized dairy farming, we found that it's very much not only dairy farming, but I'm citing bringing the example of dairy farming here, but the other agriculture businesses, other agriculture practices. If the smallholders, if they could apply this approach, organized initiatives, doing the same business by the many number of the people, many number of the smallholders, then there is very good opportunity to turn those kind of, let's say, subsistence economy or subsistence agriculture could turn to this business oriented that generates this employment and increase incomes. So it is turning to a good social enterprises in rural areas, like in the case of the Nepal, like this dairy farming itself. About 500,000 households they have been engaging day to day for the livestock grazing. It's I'm talking about this about the smallholders, no. And because in our case, in the Nepalese case, there is very little or very little percentage of this dairy farming, this being organized by single or some individual. Mostly, our dairy farming in Nepal is being run by the milks or dairy products are being produced by these smallholders. So this dairy farming in Nepal also contributing very good percentage of GDP, 8%, and out of the total agriculture contribution is 27% GDP. So this 8% GDP contribution is it shows that there is a very good significant contribution has been doing by the livestock farming. And similarly, this 95% of this dairy animals, the smallholders, they are having dairy animals in their farm, in their farming practices. Out of close to 4 million people, they are the agriculture farmers, smallholders, and close to 30,000 this farmers, we could say this youth, they are engaging in this milk processing or milk products like value chain at local level, at community level. So there is a large number of the people or youth, there is an opportunity that they could turn to bring a very good example of social entrepreneurship and ultimately the economic development of the country. And this dairy farming also contributing for the food security, like 80% of the milk available in the markets is being produced by these smallholders as an informal producers, we could say. And this is one of the main source of food and nutrition for majority of the Nepalese. So again, it's creating employment, income generation, and contributing also to reduce the poverty. So now we can say that smallholders organized farming. I already said that I'm sharing this example of dairy farming, but the same process, same approach, like organizing the smallholders and in a large number of the groups and providing technical supports and other resources for the if those kind of opportunity is there. This is the one of the good pathway to promote social entrepreneurship and rural revitalization, and it ultimately generates provides the opportunity to opportunity for to open large number of the people to be engaged in entrepreneurial activities at the grassroots level, at the community level, and that ultimately supports for the rural revitalization of our community. So this smallholders initiatives or organized efforts, including for dairy farming, dairy enterprises, we could say at community level, that is very much like supporting or linking. It links rural and urban population. We all know that the goods and basically the food items being produced in the rural areas, and they have the opportunity to sell and to have a business in the urban areas, and urban areas also getting opportunity or having the foods from the rural areas. So it has been a good linkage of rural urban. So if we promote entrepreneurship or those kind of enterprises, if we develop those kind of enterprises in the rural areas, that will have benefit, a two-way benefit as rural urban. So this is one of very good important component for the rural revitalization. So there is a lot of opportunities we have seen, like a majority of the milk producers, they are from the informal sectors, and they are again smallholders. They are again the rural youth, and mostly youth. We have seen that, we have found that youth are mostly engaged in value chain milk processing activities, small scale milk processing activities at the community level, at the village level. And another opportunity is like if we could develop these enterprises, dairy enterprises at community level, and then there is country itself will be benefiting, like with the import substitute. There is about 2 billion rupees annually that the fresh milk that we Nepal this 2 billion amounting close to 2 billion rupees of value of the milk is still being imported from the Nepal. I am talking about this fresh milk, excluding other milk products, chocolates like that. So there is one is import substitutes. Another is still there is the people, rural people living in different parts of the country. They are not getting access of having sufficient or adequate amount or standard level of the milk intake. So there is still a lot of opportunities to develop, to focus in small scale dairy farming in Nepal. So it ultimately supports for to organize the smallholder farming, and ultimately rural social entrepreneurship and rural revitalization. And similarly, there are the constraints, like we could see even the people, the smallholders, they have been doing a very good job and creating a large number of employment, and also the food milk production. But there is a lot of constraint that those kind of people they are facing. There is the lacking of the this technology, as including the breeds, the animal breeds, and very another problem is we have a very conventional, outdated approach of the government to promote the social entrepreneurship programs and activities as a need of this day, this time. And similarly, there is no effective policies and programs on the part of government for the promotion of social entrepreneurship. And then again, there is we do not see like a government is putting sufficient or required efforts to develop these sectors. So these are the major constraints. Yes, in general, what we can say this: if we go for to promote social entrepreneurship, or to increase employments and incomes, and ultimately to revitalize our rural communities, and there should be a U-turn in the policies and programs. So U-turn meaning that the existing policies and program is not conducive, not supportive for the betterment of or for the promotion of rural entrepreneurship or dairy farming in Nepal. Here we can say in picture also, just in last month, this South Korean government and this HIFAR International, they brought this improved hybrid animal breed, this cow, Holstein Friesian, to Nepal through the airplane. No? It's very expensive, but the community, the people, they should be ready. Not the community people, especially the government, should be ready. Should prepare to invest in massively for the breed improvement. Like current milk production is 10 liters per day, like that, and they need to replace the existing breed, which is not giving adequate amount of the milk that's supposed to be the good amount of the milk. No? So if those kind of breed is there, this smallholders or the farmers who have been engaging in milk production and processing activities at community level, they could get with good benefits, and then ultimately the production that will go for the countries itself also. And also they are applying very simple, very conventional method of this technology, because the technology tools and technology is somehow expensive, not affordable by the smallholders. So that should be also considered. So this is the like even I'm citing the example of dairy farming, but by the smallholders, by the small farmers, but the same thing applies to promote all the entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, if we would like to promote social entrepreneurship in rural communities. And in conclusion, so there is a large number of more than majority of the people, 50% plus people are there, the smallholders residing in people and residing in rural areas, and the same ratio, same number of youths there in rural areas. So dairy has been like because dairy applies some sort of technology. If we would like to run small dairies, even community level, they need some technologies like packaging and for the value chain, some of the value chain dairy processing products, they need some technology. And then if the smallholders, youth, if they see there is technology, they are somehow attracting to use that one. So yes, and then this part of social enterprises there to promote social enterprise and micro small enterprises, and we should focus on this technology, appropriate technology to those kind of the people and communities. So only in the case of improvement of production, processing, and value chain technology, if those kind of mechanism facilities is available there, in such cases there is the possibility only that scheme, that programs will attract youth in social entrepreneurship development, like a dairy farming and others. And smallholders, in the case of the Nepal, like in the areas where the like Nepal is a agriculture economy based country. It's more than 70% people. They are relying in their livelihood and even sufficient business in agriculture. So, if we would like to develop or revitalize our communities, our rural areas, there is no way out to organize without organizing smallholders and supporting, promoting them in social entrepreneurship, and that will be beneficial for rural. That will result in rural revitalization, and rural revitalization meaning that there will be a similar kind of lifestyle and economic benefit as the people they are enjoying in urban areas. So this is a conclusion in my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Karki, for your informative PowerPoint presentation on the success of Social Entrepreneurship Development Program in Dolakha, Nepal. Indeed, there is acute need for scaling up agricultural productivity, but also investing in the rural non-farm economy to create wage earning opportunities, particularly for poor, female, and youth-headed households. With that, I would also, before we move on to our next speaker, I would like to update and inform all our guests here that the meeting is being recorded and live streaming in ISEA's Facebook page. We will also have open floor for questions. Please use the chat box or raise hand if you have any questions that the speakers will get back to you on it. And also, we request you to have the background that was forwarded in email today to all the speakers and guests present. Now, we would like to move on to our next speaker, Ms. Inusha Khadka. Ms. Khadka is on ITC Nepal, EU Nepal Trade and Investment Program for facilitating increased trade and participation in coffee and Pashmina value chains project. Ms. Khadka is the CEO of Institute of Innovation and Quality Assurance in Kathmandu, Nepal. She is a quality champion of the International Trade Center under Trade and Investment Program project for promoting SMEs of Nepal. Currently, she is a PhD candidate at Infrastructure University in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I welcome you, Ms. Khadka.
Thank you. Thank you, Sagnaji. Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm namaste. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizing committee for this wonderful platform. It's so honored to be here today. I am Inusha Khadka, quality consultant, lead auditor for various ISO standards, and currently engaged as a quality champion in EU Nepal Trade and Investment Program. So today I will be focusing my presentation on what Quality Champion Program is all about and how it is helping SMEs in Nepal. And the information that I am sharing today is with the full consent of ITC. So without, okay, well, it's not moving. So I would like to continue with my presentation. This EU Nepal Trade and Investment Program has been funded by European Union, and it's launched by ITC in partnership with Nepal Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Suppliers and Trade and Export Promo Center, Nepal. And this was launched in 2020 and it's for a 4-year program. And the main objective of this program is to assist the Nepal government to achieve sustainable and inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction by increasing trade and participation in regional and global coffee and pashmina value chain. So under this the deep project, under this quality component, there is a quality champion program whose objective is to improve the quality of product and operation in the coffee sector to comply with EU and relevant regional and national quality and food safety requirement. As quality is the strategic weapon for increasing competitiveness in the global market, and SMEs of Nepal, including all of developing country, have.
I'm sorry to pause you, but could you please have a full screen of your PowerPoint, please?
Okay. Is it in full screen more now? Okay.
Yes.
Is it okay? Okay.
Okay now.
Okay. Sorry. sorry for the disturbance. As I have already mentioned about the quality, need of quality. So SMEs in Nepal, including all the developing countries, have higher constant. They have limited information on quality requirements, market access, and standardization, productivity. So realizing this need of SMEs in the developing country, as they are one who are supporting in creating local employment at local level. They are helping. They are helping in increasing the revenue of the country. So realizing the constraint they are facing, ITC has created a platform of quality champion, and this quality champion platform is all about qualifying national export, building a national export that they will be able to serve SMEs of Nepal in long term. So it is all about creating awareness about the quality requirement and standards. It's all about developing a sustainable national capacity that will help SMEs to improve the quality of product and process in long run. And it's all about creating a big impact without small investment. So this quality champion, as I have already mentioned, that there is a need of quality related services in micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in Nepal, as well as in other developing countries. Since Nepal is a member of WTO, this quality and standardization of product matters. So realizing this need, this platform was created, and the approach of this platform is to train the national expert, coach them, and build their competency so that they are able to serve in long term through established quality hub. So even though this deep project is generally focused in coffee sector, the quality tools that we are using here are generic in nature. This could be applied in any organization. It could be applied in service sector. It could be applied in manufacturing sector, regardless of its size and its scope. So after the establishment of this quality hub will be serving SMEs through training, coaching, training of companies, and creating various awareness seminars, sensitization program related to quality and product standardization. And the overall objective major activities under this program was like at first a selection of quality champion was conducted. Then after the selection, training and capacity development of these selected quality champions was done. And once after finishing the training and program, we were assigned with an designated with an enterprises where we worked under the guidance of international expert, and we have implemented the learning in the enterprises that we have been assigned for. Then once the assignment is completed, then after evaluation, then these quality champions will be provided with the international qualification of quality champions, and once qualified, they will be serving to the SMEs of Nepal through the established network of quality champions, which is under the ITC. So I will briefly define about the activities. First, the selection of quality champions. This selection was done through open application call, and after the evaluation through interviews and various requirements, 20 experts were selected. Now continuing as a quality expert. And these experts are from diverse field. We have representatives from a diverse field who are holding key position in their respective departments. Like we have a representative from Nepal Standard of Bureau and Statistics, which is the organization that is responsible to develop a national Nepal standard in Nepal, and also the focal point of ISO for Nepal. Similarly, we have representative from Department of Food and Quality Control, which is responsible for inspection of food and beverage in Nepal, and is also a focal point of GMP in Nepal. We have experts from National Tea and Coffee Board, which is under the Ministry of Agriculture. Similarly, we have representatives from coffee cooperative unions, entrepreneurs who are working in the entire value chain of the coffee, quality consultant, academician, and some expertise who had a long experience working in the export sector and facilitating trade and export. So all they require is the commitment from them to serve as a part-time trainer in long-term basis. So once were selected, then we were provided with various quality related trainings. This training were for 1.5 year period. We have now finished all the training, and this training were all given by international renowned trainer, and the mode, some were on physical mode, some were virtual webinars followed by exposure visit and everything. So during this period, we got opportunity to train on the various quality tools, like to mention some, we've got to train on ISO 9001 quality management system, which is all about process improvement. And also we get the opportunity to train on various international and national quality chains like WTO, TBT agreements, codex, and new organic EU organic rules, and similarly how to identify the customers, what are the market preference, how to access the market, GMP, GAP, how to standardize the process, how to develop standard operating process. And the best part of this overall training was that we got opportunity about reducing the defect in an organization and increase the productivity and customer satisfaction. Even though this tool is developed by a Toyota company, this tool is very effective and simple enough to be adopted by the SMEs in developing countries too. So this was a very effective course. Similarly, we also got opportunity to be trained on various food safety standards, food safety skill. We also we get opportunity to train on various biological, chemical, and physical hazard in the entire food cycle, so that to ensure that the food we are consuming is safe from farm to fork. Beside this, we also get opportunity on various soft skill training, leadership training, and everything. So once all this training were followed by evaluation, this was the examination model. We have given examination, and after once we have qualified, now we have finished all this training and we have qualified this round, and we are now implementing the learning in the SMEs that we have been assigned for, and this is as a part of evaluation.
Hi, Sadhana. I think we lost Anusha. Anusha, are you still there?
Yeah, I was disconnected, but I didn't realize when did I get disconnected. Was it just now?
I think just now, maybe you can go back to your,
Hello?
yeah, you're back now.
Sure. Sorry for. Oh, did I presented the slides or earlier? I was earlier disconnected.
We're still waiting for the screen to show. Let's give it a few seconds and then, yeah, maybe you can start. Okay, we lost it again. Can you reshare it, please?
Okay. Has it been shared?
Okay.
Is it visible?
Yes, make it
Yes.
full screen, please. And then you can continue. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Inishaji.
I think we lost Anusha.
Have we lost her?
Yeah.
Would you like to wait for her for a moment? Let's wait for a moment for Miss Kotka. If she's back in another few minutes, then otherwise we will move on with our program.
Yeah. Anusha is here.
Sorry, I am having a connection issue.
Anusha, maybe we can share your screen. Maybe it can help with your bandwidth.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
So, shall I start? Okay.
Okay,
Hello.
Anusha, okay.
Okay. So, sorry for disturbance. So, as I already mentioned, we are working in coffee value chain, and we are now working with entire value chain of the coffee with producer. We are working with the processors, exporters, coffee cooperatives, and cafe. So what we do is we go to the assigned enterprises in the coffee value chain. We do the gap analysis. We conduct what is needed. We identify who are the customers, what are their requirements, and based on the need assessment that we have done, we will support them with the various quality tools. Like we will help them to improvise their process. We will help them to identify the risks. We will help them to develop standard operating procedure for their process, and we also help them with the lean tools. We'll help them to implement lean tools so that they can improvise their process, they can eliminate their waste, they can prevent mistake, they can solve the problem through root cause analysis and everything. And also we help them with the leadership skill, communication skill, and everything that are needed in a market. In this way, all these tools are implemented under the guidance of international expert. And once we implement this tool, and the ITC expert will evaluate us, and find, based on the evaluation and the changes that we have made in the SMEs, finally we will be provided with international qualification of quality champions. And once we are qualified, then we will be working through for the SMEs in Nepal through Nepal Quality for Trade platform. And from this platform, we will help SMEs for product standardization,
I think we have lost Ms.
On
Katka
this-
again. So we would like to move on with the program. If you would like to have any questions, please put one for Ms. Katka and she will get back to you on the floor end. Now, before we move on to our next speaker, I would like to inform that all the government of Nepal has been trying to revitalize rural areas after 1950s as a strategy of nation building. Until 2021, the share of rural population in Nepal has remained nearly unchanged at around 78.99%, which means at present there are 6 metropolitan cities, 11 sub-metropolitan cities, and 460 rural municipalities on the total of 736 municipalities. With that information, let's move on with our next speaker, Saurabh Dhakal, on the green growth, connecting rural farmers to socially conscious consumers. Mr. Dhakal is a storyteller and sustainability campaigner based in Nepal and USA, working on 3 platforms: Story Cycle, an initiative that places stories of people, communities, and the pain points at the heart of the solutions we design; Green Growth Life, an online marketplace that sources and sells organically grown and sustainably produced products; and Dream Cities, an enterprise that focuses on empowering local youth and communities to take active part in making their communities vibrant using technology. Mr. Dhakal, I would also like to inform that we have a time frame, and you're allowed 10 minutes.
Okay.
I welcome you on the floor.
Thank you. Thank you for these opportunities, and thank you for this time also. So I am going to share my working experience based on the 2 different platforms. As she mentioned that I work for the platform called Story Cycle. And while we are working on the Story Cycle, we evolved the new idea that is called Green Growth, which I'm going to share what exactly this green growth will work. Before talk about the green growth, I just want to touch up on the Story Cycle. So Story Cycle is a concept that we come up with the idea of collecting stories from different part of the country, especially in the rural area. Why this concept has been conceived, because while you are looking some information about the rural part of the country, not only in Nepal, in global South, we usually doesn't get any right information. For example, if you do a Google search, so the search engine, there is a very few informations about those areas. So we start doing a story camp and map up camp to engage the young people to compile the story of those areas, have a good, nice pictures, video, some content, and put those informations in the internet, so that we can enhance the digital footprint of those areas. So while we are doing these activities in different part of the country, so we come up with the idea of called map-based storytelling. So this is very interesting idea that we can put our story on top of the map layers. For example, if you find any map points in Google Map, so on top of the Google Map, you can find also the video, photo, and 360 imagery. So with these tools, we became quite active for the rural area. We get connected in different parts of the country. And as many of you knows that in 2015, there was an earthquake. And at that time, we are working in this rural city. I personally prefer to call city. So it's called Barpak. And at that time, the local people raised a question that putting those information in the internet it doesn't connect anything with us. So what is the connected elements? So are we able to do or are we do something for the resources? Then we realize that why not we work with the food with the same process using the technology to sell those products. So then we start this idea called the green growth. So this is the online platform where consumer can order the product, but we develop a basic system where we identify the farm at the beginning. We make a data, map those farm, and put those informations in the online, and the consumer can take an order. Then based on their order, we deliver those order and get a payment way. So this is a very common, simple online systems before the COVID. That means we identify the farm, we promote what we have through the social media, and then with very nice photo, pictures, video of those farm, their stories, and consumer can order. So we'll take a pre-order. So based on those order, we placement those order to the farm, and when they get the order, they start picking those product. For example, if we get 10 kg of capsicum order, so they only pick the 10 kg of the capsicums, not more than that. Then it's sent to the city center, and then we'll dispatch it in the different cartons. We use reusable cartons so that we didn't have to invest much more money on the cartons. We do a sustainable packaging and we deliver it. So this function is going very well, but when there was an earthquake, then we realized that this linear value chains process is more fragile. Then we come up with the idea of resilient value chain system. So we try to identify who are the value chains actors while we are bringing product from rural part of the country to the urban consumer. So we do a tracking system. So we're using a blockchain technology. So to identify from farm, different value chains actors and the consumers. So we also start doing a RRYSE school. So that's schools provide a basic training to the farmers to think about how this tracking system will work and how they can brand their product by themselves. For example, this is Sinduli Junar, this is a sweet orange. So now we are doing a workshopping with them and prepare a special brand for the Sinduli Junars. And they can also able to track each Junar trees that will be delivered. When this product is delivered, the consumer can scan the QR code and follow these detailed informations about the farmer, about the locations of the farm, and also the detailed informations where they when they harvest the product, when they store it, how long it will take from farm to their homes. That is easy to calculate the food mile of the product. So now we are also working with the different product. For example, we are working with the apples in the mountains. We are also working with the millet in Mokwanpur. So now we have been working with the more than 12 different product and different farm around the country. So thank you very much. I hope I'm in time.
Thank you, Mr. Dokal, for your informative presentation and quite an interesting way of how you've connected the farmers and the manufactured goods to the consumers. Now we move on to our next speaker on ecotourism in Nepal and social entrepreneurship by Mr. Lucky Chetri. Mr. Chetri is a social entrepreneur. Miss Lucky Chetri. She is a social entrepreneur, mentor, and promoter. She's the Chief Executive Director of Three Sisters Adventure Trekking and one of the founders of Empowering Women of Nepal. EWN and Three Sister Adventure Trekking work in partnership to promote and empower women through adventure tourism. Together, we combine practical skill-based training programs with gainful employment opportunities. The goal is to encourage fellow Nepali sisters to become self-supportive, independent, decision-making women. I invite you, Ms. Chetri.
Thank you. Namaste to everyone from beautiful city, Pokhara. And I'm Lucky Chetri, founder of Three Sister Adventure Trekking Company and Empowering Women of Nepal. Together, this is a social enterprise. I will tell you a little bit about this in later. Sorry. I would like to tell you a little bit about Nepal. Nepal is a blessed country with the natural diversity. It has world tallest mountains above 8,000 meters. Out of 14, we have 8 mountains in Nepal, and including Mount Everest. All the northern part of Nepal is covered by snow-capped mountains and becoming a main income sources of Nepalese people. The mountain region is the least inhabited region of Nepal, with less than 8% of the local population living there. The middle hills cover about 65% of the total land area and the home of around 45% of the population of the country. The climate is very good, and most of the beautiful lakes, valleys, and valleys are located in this area. The middle hills provide a very good inhabitant for wildlife, such as leopard, deers, bears, monkeys, butterflies, etc. And these are all the resources of our tourism. And tourism requires all the basic to the exotic services or activities from the beginning to the end, like food and accommodation, transportation to the adventure or pleasure services. Tourism is a vast subject. It has no color and shape. It can be extended services from the local development to the social activities. And Nepal is a colorful country with lots of different culture and religions and different practices. And it is now the tourism is a vast subject. It has no color, no size, and no shape. It can be extended services from the local development to the social activities. And it is an evolution targeting from the local situation to the international, like ecotourism, responsible tourism, peace tourism, mass and control tourism. And we can see in the screen that how much tourism is contributing in the world, like 6% visitor growth annually. It is a fast growing business and contributing 13% global GDP, and it engaged more than 10.6% global workforce in tourism. And likewise, in Nepal also, tourism is one of the main economic resources, and it has been contributed 6.7% to GDP, and employment is 6.7% And that means 1.05 million jobs is creating. And okay, we can see this is the benefits of the tourism. There is a lot of benefits, like it has been creating job, and it has been creating a lot of businesses, enterprises, and a lot of infrastructure development and social activities are a lot. And beside that, it is an evolution. That means every time it has been changing and improving. The people, they are also becoming tourists are also becoming a very responsible, and they are also looking for different kind of tourism, and they are also very conscious where the money is going and how we are that money is using this all. That's why they are very responsible. And nowadays the ecotourism is becoming very popular. And now I like to Lewis share with the ecotourism. Like first, I like to recommend this why it is important to work in ecotourism, because the nature is very, very fragile and delicate. We have to be gentle with our nature, and we have to limit our resources, because we are using on limited resources. And also we have to be very careful that without damaging, how can we use our resources and to hand over to our future generation. And if we do this all, and after all, it will come back to us. This all nature will give back to us. So I really, I like to share with our experiences about ecotourism, where we work in the West Nepal. Like it is like our own experiences, how we did. During the Maoist insurgency period, there was a big news about West Nepal. And every time they were saying like there is people, they are hungry, they are starving, and there are people that are affected by Maoist and everything. There was a lot of things was going on. And it raises curiosity to us. And we did a survey here. Survey. We did a survey there, and we found it was really a very critical situation over there. People are very poor, and there was a lot of things. So, and we trek from Humla to Jumla. It was 15 days, and we saw real poverty on those areas. And we started during that survey, we realized we found so many things, but we thought we should focus on some important things. That was food, health, and alternative income resources. So food, because the people, they are lack of food, they are really, angry and hungry. So hungry people are always angry, So that's sort of things we realize. And also poor health over there, the women and children's, and now everybody has a very poor health and very bad sanitation and hygiene. So, and there was most of the male members, they used to leave the places for hunting job and for the economic resources. That's why it was very important to have the alternative income resources over there. So we realized tourism could be income resources for them, because what we have been realized so far working on those areas, the tourism will reach where the people hasn't reached. Like where the development hasn't reached, like in the Mount Everest region, like hardly people they live, and hardly the government they reach there, or development work reach there. But we can see now the GDP of Nepal is highest in Everest region, where the population is very low. So like this way, so we can also promote this area as a product. So people, they will benefit out of this tourism. So we are working on those areas like that way. And after that, we develop we design a course, or we focus on 3 areas, and we say that women initiation in ecotourism program. And we were started implementing our program in 5 different districts of all Karnali regions. And we were mostly focusing for women, but also we were trained men, and we were teaching them how to make local food, eatable. Like people, they used to cook there, which we like from the urban areas or from outside, they could not even really enjoy that food. But their foods are very nutritious, very good, but they had no idea. And the people, they always think like they're whatever they were growing there, that is all the poor diet. That's why they always believe that they should have to bring all things from the urban areas. So they never giving preference to their local food. So we were, working on those areas as well. And also women empowerment and a lot of other things we did. So in ecotourism, it was our main focus, and on that, health and sanitation was women's health and child health, and in general, all the health and everything was there, and cooking and food production. And we also even did the soil test, what are the good things they can produce in that areas like that. And also we were doing a lot of tourism related training for the people for the alternative income generation. And also we did the exposure visit for the local people there, because many people, they had no idea what the tourism is, how it will support their economy and their areas. So we brought them to Annapurna regions and Kathmandu, Chitwan and Pokhara to show them like how tourism is supporting local economy, and they learned so much from there. And also we connected them with a lot of national and international tourism sectors, and also develop a map or trekking map to promote that areas, and also organize a lot of purpose trekking, like a women trek for peace and development kind of programs. It was a lot we did on those areas, and now we are very happy that area is very famous for the Rara Lake, and the people, they can able to serve in those areas. And so thousands of people, they are visiting every year in that areas. Right? So I like to give one small living example of a social enterprise that our organization, Three Sister Adventure Trekking Company, we have been initiated in 1994, and we were focusing on the women trekking guide services, because that was the lack in our country. And it sounds really good, a women trekking guide for women trekkers, but unfortunately there was no women guides in that area, that this profession was fully dominated by male. So that's why to make it happen, we had to start organizations, and we register Empowering Women of Nepal to train women to be a trekking guide. And Three Sisters was there to make them make it happen, providing on-the-job training and employment. And Empowering Women of Nepal is providing training, and always they are following how can we do better, and how can we make them professional guide. So this is our social enterprise, how we are working together now to support each other. And Three Sisters make profit and contributing to our organization to do that training free for all women. And this is the Empowering Women of Nepal and Three Sisters, the action, what we are doing. Three Sister Adventure Trekking Company is addressing the quietly by action on the women's rights. It's not like we are fighting and doing anything like, and also we are transforming the all the cultural stigma, like women should not work in tourism like that, you know. So there are a lot of things we are doing on this area, like women were really discriminated in the economic economic sector, like in tourism is one of the main economic sources, but unfortunately women are not able to involve in this area. So we are involving them, providing this opportunity. And what the result is coming up is
Mr. Chair, can I kindly request you for the time constraint due to time
very
constraint?
short now. Okay, let me finish this. Okay. Okay, so what is happening, the hassle-free trekking for women, and also employment opportunity, and many things, like many women, they are leave, like not only the women, the youth are leaving the country, and it is become an alternative employment for women here. So, and we have a 5E 5E pillar of the empowerment, like so we are creating like safe environment for the women, and also we are preserving environment for the sustainable development. That's one. And we have employment and we are providing education through our training program. Like there is 3 different stages, like we do practical training and in-class training, and we have a personal development, like women, who am I, human rights, and these all things. And also we have employment exploration. Women get chance to explore who they are, what they can do, and their capacities, and their so they explore the destination as well. And at the end there is employment. So employment, in our employment things, that we have a gender equality, carrying limit, weight limits, and insurance, and all these we do that. And at the end, they will be empowered, and empowerment. What is empowerment in our organization is career development, professional skills, and financial independence, and build confidence. And doing this all, that women. This is our output of our organization, that women, they will do that. And we have a lot of big impacts in overall, that is we are able to change the behavior of the local community, that women can also do. If women get opportunity, they can also do something. And we also pave the path for women adventure tourism. And also, like we are very happy to introduce a new profession for women. So there are so many things. This is all the things that I think we are running out of time, but I really like to tell you a little bit about this one. Like this is the diagram of our theory change. And this is small initiation, how it has been impacted to the local to the international level. Like we were creating job for women in one side, and other side we are addressing the globe, like millennium development goals and sustainable development goals as well, and also influencing our government policy. So this is what the social enterprise, whoever do the social enterprise means they are targeting local issues, and they are working on it, and they are creating a lot of opportunity for the local people, and it has been replicated in the ideas to many other countries as well. So this is all my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me this floor and opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tetri, for a wonderful presentation. Indeed, the nexus between cultural ecotourism and social entrepreneurship is definitely a pathway to sustainable community rural development in Nepal. Now we proceed with our next speaker, last but definitely the sweetest, taking fruits from farms to freezers, story of sweet figs pops. I invite Ms. Kritika Lamsal. Kritika Lamsal is the co-founder of Sweet Fix, a food company that produces ice lollies with real fruits and natural local ingredients from Nepal. Sweet Fix supplies its products through 4 outlets around Kathmandu Valley and also has its own e-commerce website for online ordering. Kritika is in her final semester of her MBA with a major in nonprofit management from Westcliff University. The floor is yours, Ms. Lamsal.
Thank you, Sadhnaji, and thank you so much for the organizers giving me this platform. I feel very privileged even to be the last one because I could hear all the speakers before me, and even it was a lot of learning for myself. So yeah, here I am as a speaker representing my company Sweet Fix. So even though this is not a social enterprise, we're trying to create a positive impact through it, and I'll just be running you guys through what my company is all about. And as a student of nonprofit management and as a former development practitioner as well, I have a few insights that I'd like to share on how young entrepreneurs can be a very big part of rural revitalization and what the trends are in Nepal. So thank you for your attention in advance. So going directly into our company. So in Kathmandu right now, it's a bit cold, but when it's really hot, it gets really hot, right? So when we go and want a cool treat, want a frozen treat to cool off the heat of the summer, all the freezers, they have ice cream and they have ice lollies, but all of them are filled with artificial flavors. So you go for a mango, but it's not really mango, it's just some sugar and flavors. And that too is mostly imported, and it is a high cost for Nepal because we have a trade deficit. So even the smallest of things that are being imported right now. So this is where Sweet Fix comes in. So Sweet Fix is here to change that whole situation. So firstly, we're made with real fruits. So all our products are made with real fruits sourced directly from the farms in Nepal. We try to source it as locally as possible. If possible, a direct connection with the farmers. If not, at least they're local. If not local, they're at least real. So that is how we're changing it. So some of them are pulped, some crushed, some blended, but all are natural. So in a way, we're like an agri-processing company, if you can put it that way. There's nothing fake in it. So there are no flavor enhancers. There's no artificial coloring, and it's uniquely Nepali. So we've found that there are so many Nepali flavors that is not replicated outside. So I've tried similar products in the US, even in Thailand, the taste is unmatched over here because we're so competitive. We have so much advantage in terms of biodiversity and in terms of the flavor that our fruits have, that our natural ingredients have, that the product of Sweet Fix, that is the popsicle that you can see, is really unique. And there are flavors like lopsi, imli. So imli is tamarind, and khua. Khua is like evaporated milk that is made, that is used to make desserts. So we also use local indigenous products in our popsicles and showcase that on a global scale. So even though we're a company that is only running in Kathmandu right now, that's the capital of Nepal, we would like to grow to other cities as well and even take over the South Asia belt later on. So yeah, these are our products. So as you can see, the mango pulp on the side, it's made with real actual mango pulp. So it's pulp fresh and then it's made into the product. So we have 3 variations in strawberry. So you can see the real strawberry chunks within. So we work with a farmer, a cooperative in Kokani. So the strawberry are directly sourced from there and we make it fresh and it goes to the customers. As Sadhna said, we take the fruits from the farm and take it to the customer's freezer. So that is where Sweet Fix comes in. So the other one you can see is the tropic climate. So it has like 6 to 7 seasonal fruits. So the basic idea is to get people excited about natural food. When I talk to my friends, people usually correlate natural food with with food that people have when they're sick, and it's not very exciting. It's either sugarless or something or the other, or it's only about the health benefits. But with Sweet Fix, we want people to get excited. So even with kids, when they come and grab a fruit popsicle instead of chocolate flavored popsicle, it's a win-win for us. So in a way, we're trying to, I think Ratna also mentioned earlier that there is a connect between rural and urban, and we take the produce from rural and make it exciting for the urban. So that is how Sweet Fix operates. So yeah, I think nobody can say no to ice cream that is natural and healthy and looks this good. So from a granddaughter to a grandmother, we try to have something for everybody there. And that is how Sweet Fix is creating a competitive advantage for itself. And we actually, even though we're more natural and we're fresher fruits, we have a competitive pricing as well. So our prices start from ₹70 and go up to ₹200. And average popsicle in the market that you can find right now, if you go for the imported ones, it ranges from 110 to 130 rupees at this point. So we're also trying to be competitive as a business in this sector. Now, going a bit of a background on my team. So this company is run by 2 women. So we founded this company in 2018. So we're like 24 years old at that time and no background in food at all. I actually used to work for RRN at that point. So after my undergraduate, I used to work for RRN, and once I left and I was about to go to the US for my further studies, but this idea struck and we stayed and turned this into a company. So my co-founder Shreya, she looks after the sales and finance, and I look after the production and marketing. So we're kind of the left brain and right brain of the whole operation right here. So yeah, we started from a team of 2, that is Shreya and I, and we grew into a team of 6 in our first year. Right now we have 13 employees, and we're trying to get it more in this summer because we have an expansion plan for 2023. And interesting thing about us is it is not by design, but by default that 95% of our employees are women, and most of them are divorced, and some of them have not even had formal education. So through our company, we're also trying to empower that segment of the population and giving them meaningful jobs where they can be happy. And we're happy to share that we have the basic apart from the basic salary, we also have insurance and other benefits that they would not have received had they been in the informal segment of the market. Now with the growing team, we also have hit a few milestones. I don't want to get too into it, but in 2018, we actually started out with just 1 store. It was a mom and pop operation with a store out front and a kitchen in the back. But because of the demand from the customers and the positive response, we went into catering, supplying to restaurants. Then in 2020, because of the pandemic, we had to shut down the store for almost a year. But then again, our customers came to our rescue. They wanted it to be delivered to their houses. They came to our kitchens to get it. And after that, we also launched our online delivery service on our own. So at that point, ice cream was not being delivered. The problem with agribusinesses here is we do not have full supply chain. So even if we have produce and there are consumers willing, we do not have the middle management. We're very weak in that aspect. So we didn't have any logistic company helping us. So we did a lot of trial and error. And then we also launched a small scale online delivery service that saved our business. And we also moved our production space from our single store to a bigger production space. In 2021, we launched a new store. So we went from 1 to 2 in 2021. And we also secured our first business loan actually from the Swiss development agency. So we actually worked with the Swiss embassy and a venture capital called One to Watch. So that was a very great boost for us because it validated our business and validated that even though we are striving towards something harder to achieve in our agri-processing company, that was profitable and that can have a potential later on, so we can act as the middle people here. And in 2022, we launched 2 more stores in Samsikil and Bansepati. For people who are not aware of where that lies, it is within Kathmandu, so it is within the city itself, but it's in far to reach points. So we're trying to target multiple points within Kathmandu at the time. We also have launched our own e-commerce site in 2022, and in 2023, we want to go to more outlets and also go into a bigger factory space. So that is where we're at the moment. So yeah, the revenue streams, because we're a business, there's outlet sales, there's online orders, catering, private events, and retail sales. So this is our modality. So we are a business. We operate as a business, but we try to maximize the benefits to not only our employees but to our customers, and primarily to our suppliers that are the direct farmers that supply berries, fruits, veggies, and other things to us. So we're trying to streamline that in a way where we can create not just profit, because as Arjun sir also said in his keynote, right? So social enterprise does not just work for a single bottom line that is profit. We also try to do good for the people and the planet. So even though we're very small right now, that is what we're targeting towards in the future. So these are just a few customer testimonials because this is a really new product. So that is what the great customer feedback that we've received till date. So they've brought something new to the market. We like the ambience. I come back and I try everything and everything gets better and better. So these are the things we've received as feedback. Even like people throwing confetti on our delivery riders because they were so excited that they got the product. So it's been a phenomenal response from the customer side. So we just want to do better and do good by them and do good by our company. So these are just a few of our customers. So our target range, as I've already said, it's not just kids, it's also the parents, it's also young couples, it's also the older segment. So we try to have something for everybody, and we try to make the fruit visible in the popsicle and share the story of where that fruit is coming from. So if you have our blackberry yogurt, you will know that this blackberry came from a farm in Bhaktapur and this is the guy doing it. So we try to relate our story and make the customer know what product they're having. You know, it's a very different thing having a popsicle coming in from UAE and having a popsicle that is made naturally in Nepal from directly using the berries from a farm. So it's fresher, it's more natural, it's more local. So moving on, apart from Sweet Fix, because we've been in this business for 4 years, so even though this is not what I have studied, but I have met a lot of my fellow entrepreneurs who are doing a lot in this sector. So of course, we already listened to Saurabh-ji, we already listened to Lucky-ji and Enusha-ji, and it's a really inspiring and very diverse set of people. Apart from that, there are companies that are integrating technology, like similar to Saurabh-ji, there's a company called Kheti that is delivering to doorsteps. So they're tech enabled. There are a company like Fresh Farms that is introducing aquaponics. So both these companies are run by very young people, a very young team. Apart from that, there are many, many innovative products that are coming into the market, especially in urban areas. So I would consider Sweet Fix popsicles as one. And apart from that, there's a company called Delish that does Greek yogurt. So that is the first Greek yogurt in Nepal, and they're doing everything locally. And I'm happy to say that they're my friends, and they've already replaced the Greek yogurt that is imported in Bhatpatini, that is the major retail store in Nepal. There is no other Greek yogurt apart from Delish at this point, and that is where we want to go towards, right? And after that, there's also commercialization. So there are brands like Fresh KTM and Matu going for a more commercialized approach in agricultural products. So these are a few ways that medium enterprises are modernizing agri-produce in Kathmandu at the time. So there are many provisions for attracting youth agripreneurs. So first of all, the FNCCI, that is the Federation of Nepali Chambers of Commerce, every business has to go through that, right? They are the parent company, let's just put it that way. They have their own wing for Agriculture Enterprise Center. So there's a separate wing that supports it. There are also many development organizations supporting agriculture. Like even in Ratna sir's example, RRYSE has already supported so many projects. So development organizations, even the bigger ones like World Bank, they're highly investing in agriculture projects and agriculture initiatives. Apart from that, the government of Nepal has prioritized agriculture in terms of budget allocation. There are provisions for low interest loan, for subsidies and all of that. There's also Agriculture Development Bank. So there, I would not say that there are no provisions, but the reality here is that despite having a competitive advantage, and like all our speakers previously have mentioned, some about dairy, some about like direct farming, right? There is potential, and Nepal has a very diverse climate that supports it. Even for Sweet Fix, we have almost 50 plus flavors, and that is only possible because Nepal produces that much of fruits, right? So we can have a competitive advantage, and even the geographical position between two powerhouses, India and China, we should be in a better place. But the reality is that we're exporting much less than we're importing, and even the basics like grains. So in terms of milk, we're in a better stage, as Ratna sir said. But in terms of grains and other things, we have a huge trade deficit of like 8.75 in 2017. And there is a need for youth entrepreneurs and innovative agribusinesses, because the problem is, if you only go towards the traditional businesses, if you only go for the small holding, there will be production, but who will take it to the market? Who will be the linkage in between? So for example, storage, cold storage, transportation, that is something we didn't have. And other things are very, very poorly developed. There is no quality and value enhancement system, even in terms of grading the vegetable, as grade A can be the most excellent, grade C can be something that we can sell at a lower price, right? We do not have systems like that. So apples from Mustang, it's hailed all over the world as these really nice supple apples, but who brings it to the world? You know, those kind of things, it needs a lot of improvement and it needs a lot of attention. And because of that, people do not want to come into agriculture. So all the enterprises, all the entrepreneurs who do have an idea on what they could do with agriculture do not want to come in because there are a lot of missing links. And that is why there are very less scope of value addition and improved farming practices and improved consumer intake as well. So this is why we really need youth entrepreneurs, and we need innovative agribusinesses, and we need support from the government, private organizations, as well as development organizations, and boost this, So this is very, very important. And at last, I would like to end with a statement that we really need to encourage agripreneurship. That is a term that we've coined as well here. So it's agriculture entrepreneurship. We need agripreneurship for rural revitalization, because that is the only way. To truly empower the rural people, the rural farmers, we really need to create a market, and create a market that is beneficial to them, and create a market that consumers themselves want. We cannot push food. We really need to make it more attractive to both urban people, and also make it sustainable for the rural farmers. So that is it from my side. Thank you for your attention, and please let's connect on the handles here. So thank you so much for your attention yet again.
Thank you, Kritika ji, for a wonderful presentation. It was very inspiring, actually, as a youth, for me, and we will definitely be having your knowledge. Now, I would like to request Ms. Inusha Khadga to finish her presentation that was cut short just due to the connection problem. Are you ready, Ms. Khadga?
Yes, thank you, Sadhana ji. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we're in the 10th slide.
Okay, now crossing my fingers for the connection. Sorry everyone for the disturbance. Then after getting all this quality training and evaluation, after qualifying as from all the training, we implemented the learning in the entire coffee value chain. So how we implemented in the value chain is that we do the need assessment of the SMEs. We identified what is the quality gap over there, and we implement all the learnings, like we help them to improvise their process, we help them with finding their market, what is the market performance, what is the compliance of the market, and everything. And we also help them to imply the lean tools that help to improvise their process, that help with solving the problems, that will help them with eliminating waste. And also we also help them with some leadership skill, communication skills, and everything. And once they are implemented by us, and this implementation will be done under guidance of the international trainer, and once the changes are seen in the SMEs, then finally we will be qualified as an international network of quality champions, and we will be serving SMEs in Nepal from this platform, Nepal Quality for Trade platform, and we will be helping SMEs for product certification, process improvement, branding, market access, and everything. Also, we got opportunity to widen our network. Our work were even featured by one of the renowned magazine of industrial engineering and mechanic about the lean management. This even this lean tool is developed by Toyota company and is practiced by developed big company. But how this tool could be also applied to SMEs in developing countries, this was also featured by them. So in this way, a sustainable platform of quality experts from a diverse field who are committed to serve SMEs in the long term is in a process of development. Hopefully we will be qualified by this end of the January. We are in the implementing phase, and once our monitoring and evaluation will be done by ITC, then we will be provided with international certification, and we will serve SMEs upon their request in Nepal. Thank you everyone for your time and consideration. And again, I'm very sorry for the disturbance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Khadga. We had to have some brilliant speakers from various dynamics and fields who have incorporated in their own capacity and experience the social entrepreneurship for strengthening of rural revitalization of Nepal in the program today. And on behalf of the organizing team, I thank you all for your valuable time and effort on enlightening us and building these synergies and capacity developing networks, as well as the Institute of Social Entrepreneurship of Asia. They all constituted a new way of trying to address today's pressing development problems in Nepal through innovative solutions. Now, I would like to request all our guests to please on their video so we can go for a photo session. Can I request all our guests? We were a total of 56 participants in the start. Unfortunately, I think due to some issues with the connection, now we are only 39, but we're still here and intact. Thank you for your valuable time, dear guests.
Okay, everyone, be ready. Smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3, first page. One more. Next page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thanks, everyone. Let's go to the Q&A. Sadhana, go ahead.
I'd like to open the floor for some question and answers. Please, we have had a few on the chat box. If you could raise your hand feature to direct your question to the specific speakers, then please do. Thank you. Should I point out the questions from the chat boxes from the first beginning? There was Christine, Miss Christine Vailaga, who had directed a question in the beginning to Mr. Karki. Are you available? Are you on, Miss Christine?
Maybe we can read the question instead, Sadhana.
Sure. If Miss Christine was available, she could have asked herself. Otherwise, she says that in terms of agriculture, what are the different crops or industries that have high potential growth and has room for innovation, particularly in Nepal?
Maybe so I should answer right now. Thank you, Christine. In fact, this especially the vegetable crops, all the vegetable crops, they have very high potential for this organized farming and to go for value chain. Like we could see a lot of vegetables. They need those kind of like production. How do you say? It's a kind of like a supply chain. In the lack of like those organized farming, the grower, vegetable grower, or the smallholders, they cannot supply the regularly all those kind of vegetables and sometimes fruits also. But vegetables we can count for potato also. All the vegetables, mostly the leafy vegetables and potatoes, those can be a good. We do have very good example like here in Kathmandu also. Most of this cauliflower and cabbage during the off-season time that comes from this mountain districts like from Dolakha, mostly from Dolakha and some mountain areas of the other districts. So to maintain supply chain, if because these small holders are the farmers, they cannot maintain, they cannot organize those kind of supply chain by themselves. There is a need of those kind of support system mechanism, either that has to be done by the state like that.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Ratnakarki. Would the participants like to question directly, or would you like me to read the questions that have been shared on this chat?
I think, Sadhana, there are someone is raising his hand a while
Yes.
ago.
I missed.
Saidamin.
Saidamin Mambayaw.
Yes, good afternoon from the Philippines. I'm Saidamin Mambayaw. I work with Member of Parliament Jamila Simban Ramos, a legislator here in the Bangsamoro region in the Philippines. I'm interested in learning about the contribution of social entrepreneurship in poverty alleviation in Nepal. If our resource persons can share the experience of Nepal in social entrepreneurship, how it's contributing to education. And since I work with the government, my next question would be if there's a dedicated office or government agency that is catering the needs of social entrepreneurship. And probably if the government is investing, how much the government of Nepal is investing for social enterprise development.
So can I take these questions at the beginning? And I think the right person is the lucky ma'am. Since a few decades in Nepal, we have a group of Ashoka Fellow who introduced the concept of social entrepreneurship in Nepal. So technically, the social entrepreneurship is a very traditional method of doing entrepreneurship in Nepal. But the Ashoka Fellowship gives us to give an idea and understanding about this social entrepreneurship. And I'd like to inform you that the Lucky Chetri is one of the Ashoka Fellow among the 25 Ashoka Fellow from Nepal. So, but the government, I personally didn't see any visible approach from the government in terms of social entrepreneurship. So they have different approaches for the entrepreneur development, but they are not very open or understandable approach for the specific area that we have been talking about, the social entrepreneurship. I think Lucky ma'am can answer more on this. Lucky.
Thank you, Sarojit, for supporting me to answer this question. Actually, social entrepreneur are the people that they are working to address all the local issues and making their enterprise, introducing enterprise. So this is really unique, but it's very difficult to understand by our government and local people and now everybody. But anyway, like it is a risk taking. And also it's very challenging because they are always working in a very dashing subject, like issues. So it is really a great thing to be a social entrepreneur, because it doesn't like in our case that we have a business and also a social organization, but it doesn't need to be like that. But some people, they are just working on the issues, and they are doing the enterprise, like in Nepal, we have a lot of people like that, Bir Bahadur Ghare or Lily Thapa or everybody. They don't have any shop or anything like that, but they are working on the like issues, and they are doing a kind of enterprise. So this is something really great for the developing country. There are so many issues on the ground, so we have to address one by one, doing these sort of things, this practice will be a great for the developing country, I think. And but the government never entertain to those people. Yeah. So
Yes. Indeed, social entrepreneurship has been a very nascent stage in Nepal, and there's the lack of legal framework around the provision for social enterprises has been the impeding factors indeed for its growth and development. Do we have any other participants raising hands?
Satnaji, can I just add on to the answer? Yeah,
Sure.
so yeah, I can't recall who Sideman. Thank you so much for the question, and I think they've already stated most of it. But since I also studied social enterprise in my master's, we actually do not have a legal framework itself. So if you want to register as a social enterprise and call yourself a social entrepreneur, there is no legality, and in absence of such legality and clarity, there can't be concentrated efforts, right? If you don't know what a thing is, how can you actually invest in it? So I think first it's the work has to be done on a policy level. And the other question was, how has social enterprises helped in poverty alleviation? So in terms of Nepal, like Lakiji already mentioned, it has been done very informally. There are many great social entrepreneurs here that are not acting very formally, but they've helped a lot. So even traditionally, like systems like Guthi, there's a system where we gather money as a community and then invest it in social causes and like help the members who are a bit backward when they need it. So there are practices like that traditionally as well in Nepal. So even culturally, we have a very social enterprise mindset. There are also many people who have helped even in terms of bringing internet to the rural areas. It has all been done by social entrepreneurs. So the only thing lacking is legal framework and actual concentrated support from the government. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lamsal. Moving on with another question. There is one from Ms. Anastasia from Indonesia. I would like to ask Kritika, what is your leadership approach when it comes to any challenges to your company?
Okay, thank you. Is there a specific challenge you have in mind so that I can answer more clearly, or is it like a generic thing as a woman entrepreneur?
Can Ms. Anastasia speak? Unmute and speak, please. That is the question I read from the chat box.
I think she's not there anymore, so we can move on to the another question, I think. Oh, okay, maybe in general. Okay, so in general, what is the question? So leadership approach. So I think because I started my company at a very young age. So me and my co-founder both were like 28 at this point, and we're also learning and growing with the company. So our leadership style is very flexible, very fluid, but we're very serious about what we do and our products. So we do not want substandard things. We want everything to be done well. So we're a bit strict in regard to the product and in regard to the process and the discipline that we want and the culture that we're trying to create, because it's a very small team. But in terms of challenges, we're very flexible because we're also learning. So we're not complete experts in our own right, but we know a few things and we can do it well. So I think a very flexible, yet somewhere it's strict, and mostly it's flexible. So that's the leadership style we take. And any challenge, I think, with SweetFix, what everything all of our team members, all our shareholders have in common is this is something that we're not just doing for the money. Of course, it needs to be profitable for us to keep continuing and for us to bring in the benefits, but this is so much more than that for us. It's a vision to have a product that we can proudly say that's from Nepal and people proudly accept as their own. So we do not want to push SweetFix, market SweetFix. We want our consumers to say that, hey, we are SweetFix consumers. So that is where we're going towards. So in light of that, I think we have a very flexible, a very loving leadership style in our company. And apart from that, like specific challenges calls for specific responses and specific styles. So it changes from problem to problem.
Can we have any more questions? I think there was an appreciation on the chat box from Cherry Abeleda. Truly inspiring practices in the field of tourism, highlighting strong local identity. Hats off to the valor and dedication of the entrepreneurs behind these projects. If there aren't any questions, there's one from Miss Diane. Miss Diane says, thank you very much for an enriching presentation, Mr. Karki. Congratulations to you and the project team. I just wonder if there is a case study on a smallholder's family with the dairy project activities and how each of the family members participate towards the success of the project. Does the family follow a value chain process that contributed to the success of the project? Also, when speaking about the youth sector's participation, what's the ratio of female vis-a-vis male participating youth? Is their participation sustained successfully?
Thank you, Sadhanaji. In fact, I replied writing to yes, we do, but yeah, we do have sufficient many cases of the success of those kind of household managed or smallholder farmers managed or small scale dairy enterprises, we could say. In fact, for the last many years, we have been promoting this kind of organized smallholders, organized initiatives, we would say, for the promotion of dairy enterprises, for the promotion of all this commercial farming, because this is the only way to bring these smallholders into a commercial or somehow business-oriented or profit-making business. No, otherwise they don't have that kind of resources, land, and other resources to go for the business-oriented any economic activities. And farming is the only best knowledgeable and adapted skills those kind of peoples do have. So and if we go back to our the situation of our country, or the population of our country, so we felt that this is the best approach, and it is getting very success. So we do have many cases. And regarding this male and female participation, like this kind of entrepreneurship, maybe your question was related to maybe women might be in more burden than the male, like that, while doing this kind of enterprises or business at the household or community level. But they also got opportunity or time to learn more or to be more capacitated, empowered. So I would say nowadays female are more empowered in terms of their resource access and economic activities. So they are equally participating. And youth, obviously, if we would like to attract youth in this sector, in agro-business, what Kritika ji was saying, that's we need to focus, we need to orient the people to agri-entrepreneurship, no? Agro-entrepreneurship like that. The youth, they will not go or they will not be attracted unless or until we could provide those kind of technical supports and other supporting mechanism, financing. Agriculture has been considered one of inferior, or farming has been considered one of inferior jobs to the many of the people and youth also. So they would like to see that the changes are the easy way of doing the job, like the people, urban people, are somehow better economically, better on people they are doing. So there is if those kind of situation is there, youth are many of the youth they have been now engaging. We have many cases like people they were working abroad the country, outside the country before. Now they are doing this kind of enterprises, this kind of business. Many youth they are doing like Kritika. We can cite example of Kritika ji. She left RRM and she started her own business industry like that. So more or less those kind of things that also applies to our rural communities also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Karki, for the answer. I think now we will move on to our last question for today's. Do we have anybody raising hands? Or else this has been put down by Kritika Lamsalji, but also this is also a personal question to Saurabhji. Marketization is very necessary. I'm just wondering, how are you able to reduce costs when doing smaller orders? How have you managed the supply chain?
I think I also text the answer, but good to articulate it better way. So after the COVID, we try to manage the food mile of the specific product through our technological innovations. For example, we calculate the food mile from Mustang to Kathmandu and the household, and even for the Sindhuli Junar, so the customer can look into the how many kilometers it has been passed through. So the idea of calculating the food mile is the reducing the transport from one product to the consumer. So it applies for especially for the green vegetables. So how we are working is that we are trying to reach or trying to encourage the local farmer around the local markets. For example, if I am selling the product in Sindhuli, so I won't be delivering product from Kathmandu to Sindhuli. So I will source those products from the limited food miles. So that's the way we are thinking, and we're shifting that idea after the COVID. So we are also trying to encourage the traditional local market system. For example, we used to have a Haat Bazaar every weekend and different days in different locations, but our system now, you can see in the Kathmandu, the mayor is not very progressively positive thinking to the local market system. So he's very aggressively moving those street vendors and others. So, but we are trying to set up those kind of local market system that will encourage the local people to produce the product, right? So, or even for the young people who will be engaging in different kind of products. So agriculture product is not limited with the rice, barleys, or things. Agricultural products means that now they can produce different kind of things. For example, some of the young people are delivering the indoor plants through our platform. So that is, they can create on their small space in the urban space. They doesn't need to go to the farm area. So on that way, we're trying to sourcing the multiple farm area on the definite food miles. Definite food mile is limited within the limited food mile. So on that way, we can reduce the cost of logistic and the transportations, and the consumer will benefit from that way.
Okay, thank you, Saurabhji. Now, if the speakers have any additional information to share, I would like to proceed with the closing remarks.
I just want to add on the sir perception that the young people are not interested in the farming. That is not really true, or we need to be rethink about the perspective that how we are looking into the young people and the work in the farm area. The value we are giving for the working in the farm area is very nominal. So while you are working in the labor work in urban area, so you'll get the how much you are paying for the urban labor. So we are not paying the same price for the farm area. So now it has been revisited. People said that you can't do it on a free way. So it should be a standard pricing, standard labor act. You need to be look into the farm area as well. And then we also need to have a production calculation approach of the production cost of agriculture product. So there is never thinking about, or there is no any proper mechanism to calculate the production cost of product that I produce. I need to be fight with the market system for the pricings. So at that moment, the people are not encouraged to go work on the agriculture area, and it is always loss. This is not a very profitable business. But if you are able to calculate the production cost, and we are getting profit on the agriculture, so of course, this is one of the work. So young people are very interested to do those kind of things. And there are a lot of innovative approaches that the young people are now trying to do on different area. Like we are trying to produce the local foods, indigenous valuable foods. So it has more value in the market. So I think the system need to be revisit on their policy, how to encourage the young people to involve and how to give a brand value of the decent work on the agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurav Dhakalji, for the information on how actually agriculture is lucrative if given the proper incentives. Now we would like to move on with the reflections and closing remarks for the program today by Mr. Zhang Lanying, the Executive Director of Sources for Action, SFA. Mr. Lanying is leading an educational organization called Sources for Action, which is an outgrowth of the rural reconstruction movement in China, and affiliated with Shihai Environmental Protection Foundation as one of its founders, centering on the educational innovation of sustainable living and the action research of ecological community experiment. She is building a more resilient international localized youth community by developing a series of action learning programs of ecological wisdom and cultural inheritance. I welcome you, Ms. Lani.
Thank you. I would like to thank our Nepal organizers, the Nepal Rural Reconstruction Movement, and to organize this forum and bring us such a rich, diversified experience of social enterprise and supporting the social enterprise development in the country. But also we see the beautiful Nepal, which really rich in natural resources and culture. Well, we are starting year 2023. We are facing a world situation which seems much more unstable because of the unpredictable pandemic, all type of the war, nuclear, biological, all these issues. And also the more important is the climate change towards a new term or new way, new phenomena is talking about ecological collapse. So to counteract with this situation, today's sharing, we see a lot of keywords like local economy, use role in building the rural areas, and through the social enterprise for the rural revitalization. Rural revitalization is not only to make agriculture to be ecological sound and help the farmers, but also to revive a farming community or a peasant society, revive the rural culture, and build the local resilience and local civilization. So the rural revitalization strategy emphasizes on promoting the integration and development of rural, primary, secondary, and tertiary industry, which we see the cases from Nepal presentation today. And there's a many type of efforts to transform local industry to social enterprise, and also through the capacity building for entrepreneurship. So the cases we show the many diversified innovation using the traditional milk production and IT technology and food system. So the social enterprise is defined, as we see, an organization that solves social problems through innovative and effective commercial means, which reflects not only for profit-driven, but for win-win situation between society and economy. So the cases today, we see the first one is more focused on the community-based approach for milk production, with caring about family needs and market requirement from quantity perspective. And second case is more looking from the quality perspective. And the third cases is kind of fully using the technology to support farmers' products marketing. And the case 4 is ecotourism, which is very, very interesting, that empowering women to develop a social enterprise and ecotourism. And case 5 is more related to the food security and safety by producing a not so adding flavors to the food that most people favorite. So we see that there's a multi-stakeholder participation efforts. There's a social enterprise cases. There's also supporting institutions to nurturing and capacity building for local social enterprise building. So we see a lot of achievements. Of course, we are also facing some difficulties. I think, as Arjun shared, the issues of the social enterprise development in Nepal, this is, I think, is common issues that to most of the countries, because this is new concept, but we also need to look at our traditional economy and what's the social ecological wisdom embedded in. So with that, issues like policy improvement and support, both in financially and skilled, and also adopt to the local culture and situation, and also the training program development. And I would like to suggest that we could have a further dialogue if people are interested to do country sharing about policies and the supporting institution system to nurturing social enterprise development. So we are starting the 2023. In fact, this is the new calendar. Traditional Chinese calendar is it's gonna be January 22. We will start the year of rabbit. So the rabbit has a different meanings for a positive attitude, kindness, and go beyond what we have been done, and for the peace. So we stand. I wish all of us will have a kind of a good start of year 2023 and the peace for the world. And we will work together to promote social enterprise and youth involvement to support, to bring the rural life, and the people can enjoy better life. And thank you very much. And if you, we also with this platform, we are also planning to have some expansions to the regional level of cross-learning. So after the first quarter, we are looking forward to meet you again to have a more dialogue and exchange about social enterprise and youth role in rural revitalization. And thanks again for our Nepal friends to organize this forum, but also thanks for ISEA to facilitate and coordinate all this serious forum. And also thanks for the co-conveners of this platform. And thanks again. Good. Wishing you all the best.